I'm David Griffin. It's the 19th of February 2018. I'm here in the village of West Hallam and I'm talking to
Paul Aldred.
Paul, thanks ever so much for joining us as part of this heritage project. Obviously you had a career as a professional county cricketer and you're now a quite renowned bat maker, but before we talk about any of that, can we just go back to the very start and what and when was your introduction to the game of cricket?
Well, I suppose it was through my dad. My dad played cricket. He was a reasonable local cricketer, but I just loved it. I just loved cricket. Any spare minute I was playing it. I was down at Swarkston Cricket Club where I grew up. Even down to the point, I loved Swarkston Cricket Club that much, when we moved up to the Peak District, so I was born in Derby, we moved up to the Peak District, at 12, 13 years old, if my dad couldn't get me back down, I'd bus it from Carver to Chesterfield, Chesterfield to Derby, and Derby down to Chellaston and get picked up in Chellaston, stay the weekend, my dad would pick me up on Sunday and back home. And it was just, I loved it there and loved every moment of club cricket.
Was that your dad's club then?
It became my dad's club. He started from Ilkeston because my family was originally from Ilkeston. So my dad used to play for Ilkeston Rutland in the old days, and Ilkeston Tradesmen.
I think we've all had a game for, even I've had a game for Tradesmen.
Yeah, so he, when he was he used to work for the Prudential, so when he was a life inspector and supposedly out at night, the odd nights he had to play under a pseudonym so he could go and have a game of cricket when he was supposed to be working. But my dad just loved sport, and he just, fortunately for me, encouraged me to play any sport that I wanted to play. And my dad's passions in life were sport and music. That was his life, and I suppose in many ways I just followed suit with sport and just had a go at anything I could, to be honest.
And what about at school? Because you said you moved up to the Peak District.
Yeah.
Were you playing cricket at school?
Not really. There was sort of a bit of a cricket team, but it wasn't very good. And the local teams at that time, sort of Kerber, Baslow, all around that area, they weren't very strong club teams. So as a kid, I think that's one of the attractions of coming back. So the cricket was still quite good down in Derby, but we didn't really play that much at school. What I got into at school, they always wanted me to play rugby, but I was a little dot and I never fancied that. Loved it as I got older, but not when I was at school. But I got into hockey, so I was sort of playing county age group hockey and through, but as much as I did that and, played hockey and played golf, I played a lot of football, I did well at football, but fell out of love with that. I found it a little bit of a selfish sport when I started going into the higher levels. Didn't enjoy that side of it, so hockey came to the fore and just cricket was always there. Nothing got in the way of playing cricket. So
when you got sort of established in club cricket, that was with Swarkston, was it? And primarily as a bowler?
Yeah, as it was in those days, if you bowled, you batted down the pan, and I could handle a bat, but didn't have that batter's mentality, so to speak. I could play, but in many ways, just needed that bit of guidance when I was younger as a batter. As a bowler, and then sort of went through. I stayed with Swarkston until I think I was 20. I stayed an extra year because I think if I remember right, it was when the Derbyshire Central League and the County Leagues merged, and they had a chance of going up in the division. So I stopped another year, and then I moved from there to Watbrook.
Who were the influences, Paul, on your earliest during your teen years in club cricket?
In club cricket, I think it wasn't so much influences. I mean, my influences, as it was for most people back then, I wanted to be in both of them.
Right, yeah.
I can remember sitting watching those miraculous events in '81 and just loving every minute of it and just wanting to be that. I didn't quite have the talent to be that, but that's what I wanted to be. No, but I actually just loved club cricket. I loved the challenge. I loved going and competing against people who were better than me. So I never played any age group county cricket. I tell a lie, I played about 2, and it was always the Glossop ones when no one else wanted to play. And all I did was, I lost so many jobs when I started work just by going and playing cricket, because I'd go and play. You used to have the league representative team, you used to have the association, then you got your club teams, and then you start trialling and things like that. And it was my love, and I just did anything to play cricket. And so in the local leagues, you've got people like Tony Borrington. When I first went to Otbrook, I got Paul Newman, just finished on the county staff, was opening the bowling at the other end. That's why I went to play there to learn. And people like Neil Waitman. And there were people in the leagues. One guy springs to mind at Denby, Phil Glenn, how he never got a go at county cricket through natural talent, I do not know.
Yeah, they say the same about his teammate Neil Sparham.
Neil, very talented. Yeah, but you know, club cricket's club cricket.
Yeah.
When you go and do it day in, day out, that's when it finds you out.
Just going back to, you said you moved to Otbrook and you had an opportunity to open the bowling with Paul Newman. Of course, was a NatWest Trophy winner. He was a good bowler, good player. What were you having? Had you got an eye then on a professional career at that stage, or were you just looking to better yourself as a cricketer?
I'd always wanted to be a professional cricketer, always. And I started trialling at the age of 19.
Who was that with?
That was Derbyshire.
Yeah.
We played at, where was it? We played against Notts. Was it Staveley or somewhere like that? And
so how did you get into that from playing league cricket to a trial? Who put you forward? Did somebody spot you?
I wrote to counties.
Did you really?
I wrote to counties, not for trials. I wrote to see if they wanted a net bowler.
Right.
And that's what I did, because with the view that, well, I might not make county cricket. You know, basically, for every one of me, there's another 1,000 want to do it. So I just went with the view that I loved professional sportsmen. Can I be around that a bit more? If I am, it's going to make me a better player. It's got to. And I wasn't afraid of being the little fish in the big pond. I was quite happy doing that, as long as I was learning and progressing. And I wanted to be better. So it was just a case that for the first couple of years, you know, I wrote to counties, so sort of Warwickshire, initially locally, Warwickshire, Derbyshire, Notts, Leicester. Do you need anyone to bowl pre-season? And that's what I did. So I started going to winter nets. And
who was looking after you then at that time? Because Phil Russell obviously was the, the coach, wasn't he?
Phil used to do the Derby stuff. But I've got to be honest, I never can really remember a coach. You just went and bowled.
Yeah.
And so you used to go, the joy for me was we'd go to Derby, the old indoor school, in the middle of winter in Devon Rock up with about 5 sweaters on, with the old heaters up in the top corner, and you'd be running and bowling at John Morris and, you know, Paul Taylor and Chris Adams, and people would be coming in from the winter jobs that they'd got. You know, what you've been up to today, and Carl Crick and I've shifted 2 ton of cardboard boxes, and they just looked after me.
Where did you feel you belonged there? You know, you ran in a bowl at Morris, who at that time would be one of the best young batsmen in the country. Where did you feel you were capable, good enough?
I didn't feel out of place.
Right.
If that's the word. There was a long way to go, but I think it was the joy of doing it more than anything else for me. And it was. I was in awe of these people. Any professional, I still am to this day. When I go and play taverners, things and like that, I've become friends with people I used to play against, and I'm still in awe with them. But we used to play against each other, and I love that. And but I never looked at it with a view that, yes, I'm as good as them. If I'm honest, I've always sort of gone, I'd love to be as good as that. But it was just a case of, I took it in baby steps all the way, and I sort of went, well, if I can achieve that, then I can get to that. And it was perseverance really,
Yeah.
more than anything.
And of course, by this is the 1980s. Derbyshire have got quite a few bowlers around.
Yeah, in the late 80s, yeah.
Michael Holding,
Yeah.
Devon Malcolm, Paul Newman, you mentioned before, Alan Warner. There's a young Dominic Cork lurking there in the background. But you did get on to playing second 11 cricket. Now, was that as a staff player, or was that just...
No, just as a trialist.
Okay.
So I went everywhere. I wasn't good enough to get on one contract, so I thought I might as well try a few counties. It was... someone pointed it out to me. We touched on it earlier before we did this, but most people have half a dozen to a dozen trial games and then get a contract. And my cricket was that appalling that someone pointed out that I'd played about 33 before I got a contract. But what it did do, although in many ways it would have been better to have had a contract early on in life because it gives you time to develop, it did give me an appreciation of what I got, but I had to learn quickly. I had to learn very, very quickly because I was 26. There were people at 18, 19. So you got to find your way. And but having played all those second 11 games, I'd sort of learnt the ropes a little bit. So.
And presumably, Paul, there must have been someone who thought there was something there, because they wouldn't have wanted to, with the best one in the world, waste 6 years worth of second 11 cricket. There must have been someone who thought this lad's got something.
And it's one of the lasting memories I have of cricketing life was a handful of people's kindness.
Really?
Yeah. Not many, just a handful, and giving you a helping hand when you need it. So I look back, Jeff Miller helped me before and after cricket. What a wonderful man he is. I've got all the time in the world for Jeff. But I look back now and I have to smile because when he finished playing at Essex, he went and played minor counties for Cheshire.
That's right, yeah.
And I had a phone call one day and Paul, it's Jeff Miller. And oh, hello. So I didn't really know him. I only knew him from his old shop at Chesterfield. Yeah. And he just said, would you like to come and train with us at Cheshire? No internet. So brilliant, what an opportunity. So I'd toddle off after work, go up to his house, he'd drop my car there and we'd drive over to Cheshire over the moors at night and he'd tell me all these stories about Botham, Gower, Lamb, and I'd be in stitches all the way over there and all the way back, and I get back about 12:30 at night, off to work in the morning. I'd be laughing about these stories. Little did I realise at that time he was rehearsing his after dinner speeches. And I see him now and remind him of that, and wonderful memories, but it didn't stop there. When I came out of cricket and I was struggling for a while, Jeff just gave me a helping hand, gave me some bits of work here and there, and he didn't need to. And there's a few people that I owe a lot to with that, and that's my lasting memory really out of cricketing life. Is there's a handful of people that just give you. They don't give you a position; they give you a helping hand for you to try and grab hold of something if you can, and I've always appreciated that.
During that period that we've already talked about, the period where you played 30-odd second 11 games, are you noticing that your cricket is getting better, that you're becoming a better bowler?
Yeah, I mean, you just...
Because presumably you're still playing league cricket as well.
I was playing, basically when I was trying, I was playing more cricket than I did as a professional. So I'd just go and play for 4 days with a county and then come back, so you finished on the Friday, and then come back and play club cricket at the weekend. And it was hard graft. And I was a bowler in the leagues. In those days, you go in the leagues, you bowl 23 from one end, and then you'd have the cup. A respite in league cricket was the Derbyshire Cup as it used to be, because you only bowl 12 overs, whatever it was. And but that's the way it was, and I loved it. I wanted to bowl overs. But what trialling did for me, and because I was a really shy young man, painfully shy, And I can remember, times when my dad was taking me to, and I was sat in the car almost in tears, not wanting to go, because you go to a new county that you've not been to before, and you've got to walk in this changing room where you know no one, and you sit down in the corner and hello, and just get your head down, and sometimes when you look back, there were players who were perhaps at a tough time in the career and they're a bit edgy. You'd sit in the wrong spot, and they made you know it as well. So it's quite daunting, really. But what it did do is it sort of, I suppose, the rejection of not getting a contract here or not doing so well there, and then doing well and perhaps getting a bit of a roasting for something that wasn't your fault. You sort of got hardened, I think, which in the long run, I think that for me aided, because I wasn't a naturally talented player, but what it did do, it made me get my head down and just graft. And I think that's in many ways it was good that I got a contract later rather than earlier in some ways.
And what was the standard like, Paul, in that second 11? What kind of players were you playing with at Derbyshire and against?
You were playing again. The great thing now, and I think it's such a shame for second 11 cricket now, and it started when central contracts came in, really, but you used to play against international cricketers in second 11 cricket, and just as I was starting into trialling, it was when they had 2 overseas. Yeah. And these people were talking about, going into club grounds and wacky Eunices running in at you and things like that. So, we played against Somerset at a college ground, and you got Caddick and Van Troos running in at you, and it was never a surprise if you saw Graham Goots rock up and decide to have a hit. Yeah. It was just the way it was. So you got the second level cricket was strong because you got seasoned first class players going in and perhaps a bit out of nick, or perhaps been dropped, or they just needed a bit of a hit after an injury or a bowl, and Darren Goff would be running in after a knee operation and questioning you while you're batting. How's that? What's the pace like? And just a total difference to what you see now. It's mainly young academy lads, and I think that's a tough thing for county cricket because they're not hardened when they go into. And
who was playing within the second team at that time for Derbyshire? Who were your
Derbyshire.
teammates?
Well, it was always quite funny because when I was playing for other counties, I always seemed to play against Derbyshire as well. So you got people like Big Rolly, and what a talented player Rolly was. Big man, made the most of what he'd got as well. You got who was there at the time? I can remember playing with Corky and Bruce Roberts in my early trial games. Bud Hill, Bernie May. I can remember Bernie May when he was second 11 captain coach sort of thing. There was
some good players.
There was a constant list because you got a lot of the first team in and out. Tim O'Gorman, Matt Van Drell, those sorts of people sort of in and out. And then when I got on the staff, you'd sort of got you Ian Blackwell's coming in, and so it was very strong. But you got the other counties that were strong as well. So at Warwickshire, when I was trying at Warwickshire, I had a couple of years just playing a lot of cricket with them. You got the Dougie Browns and the Ashley Giles and those sorts of people as they were coming through, and it was a wonderful experience.
Well, we've touched on you coming on to the staff, so what we'll do is we'll just call a halt to this interview, and the next one we'll look at your passage to glory.